Thank you for watching the video in place of PERUSALL, Enhancing Formative Assessment. My name is Ateh. I am an associate professor in a small liberal arts college in the Northeast region of the United States of America. Why am I singing praises to PERUSALL? In this presentation, I am going to share with you my personal experience using PERUSALL in the past 1 year and how I have realized the many tools embedded in PERUSALL enhance formative assessment. First of all, what is PERUSALL? It is a social platform that the developers created to enhance student engagement in reading prior to class. It is a social platform that is embedded with multiple tools and sections to enhance engagement. I was not familiar with PERUSALL until 2020, following the pandemic, when I, like any other instructor, was in search with effective online tools. That's when I encountered PERUSALL, and more so at the EDULEARN2021 Conference, where I got to participate in a workshop that was focused on PERUSALL, facilitated by one of its founders, Eric Mazu. Thereafter, I used PERUSALL in my courses in the fall of 2020, spring of 2021, and currently this summer in a graduate course. I have realized how useful the multiple tools are. For those of you not familiar with PERUSALL, I strongly recommend that you go to perusall.com to read and watch some videos. For those who are familiar with PERUSALL, my hope is that this presentation will highlight some of the things that you already know and engage you in reflecting on how you can use the platform to enhance formative assessment. Now, a little bit on PERUSALL. For those who do not know it, and those who know it, you know there is a library site where you can upload all the content that you want to engage students in. There is also the assignment section where you upload assignments for students to engage in, and you can see different tools that are embedded in this section. This is also a screenshot of an assignment that students are already working on, and you're able to see as students are collaborating and inserting their comments and questions in the assignment. There is also a metric system that is embedded in it, where you are able to see the number of students who have completed, the number of comments. Look at this case, 76 comments, and so many questions, unanswered questions that you can use in reflecting on formative assessment. Now that we know a little bit on PERUSALL, let's switch gears to formative assessment. It is a process. It is a process and not something that the instructor is doing in the classroom. It involves the students, every student, and the instructor trying to elicit students' knowledge that is used to enhance learning. This is a simple but popular model that encompasses some of the important components of formative assessment process: the teacher, the peer, and learner, who are the students. These three are constantly engaged in the classroom, thinking about where the students need to be, where they are currently or at a given time, and how they will close the gap between where they are and where they are going to. The teacher and the students are constantly asking these questions, and they each have different roles that they are playing in the classroom to help establish these places. Where are students going? The teacher needs to be very explicit on the learning goals and the success criteria, so that the students can also understand and know what it is that they are supposed to do. and how they will demonstrate their knowledge. In reflecting on the 3 questions that I just showed you, where the students are, what they are supposed to know, how do you close the gap, we see a marriage between perusal and formative assessment. In this table, on the left-hand column, I have captured some of the things that are going on in perusal with the tool. On the right-hand side, I have identified the formative assessment component that is aligned to what is going on in perusal. The first role, for example, the instructor is responsible for identifying the content that is uploaded in the assignment section that students are all going to be engaged in. This is a formative assessment process because the instructor, with the knowledge on what students are supposed to know or be able to do, needs to identify the content that the students have to be engaged in. The second role talks about students and peers collaborating on the social media, where they are annotating, commenting, and highlighting questions that they have. The formative assessment that is ongoing in that process is with students all engaging at the same time, serving as resources for one another, which helps them to reconstruct their knowledge and share. And the teacher has access to this knowledge. In the perusal platform, the teacher is able to see the comments, the questions, the upvoting, the confusion report. This shows evidence of students' substantive knowledge that the teacher can actually use in the formative assessment process in helping them close the gap between where they are and where they are supposed to be. Another important component in perusal is a grading tool that is embedded. However, with formative assessment, it is highly suggested that we do not consider grading because students are still in the process of learning. In my class, the way I use the grading system in perusal is to constantly remind students that the scores are not important. I use the scores to inform me on the extent to which they are actually engaging and how I can continue to engage them in a way that will enhance their learning. You can see that perusal and formative assessment both align with the socio-constructivist theory of learning, which is what we really want to happen in our classroom. Students are all owners of their own knowledge as they are sharing their knowledge with each other, bouncing off ideas and coming to a place where what they share is representative of what they really know. It is student-centered versus teacher-centered, where the student is just there and the instructor is just pouring information. It is authentic and substantive, which means that the evidence that the teacher is getting is authentic and will help the teacher to actually plan instruction that will enhance learning. An important component of the formative assessment process is eliciting students' knowledge. And we see that in perusal, where students are constantly commenting and sharing their knowledge. The platform allows all students to be engaged and not just a few students. And so, unlike other methods where you can have the teacher simply asking some objective questions with some specific response in mind, with perusal, students are engaged in the content and they constantly share what they know without the teacher or instructor intervening or stifling how they are sharing their information. Students feel comfortable, the platform is safe, and students can actually enhance the safety by making their comments anonymous. The instructor can actually contact individual students to motivate them, or encourage them to share their knowledge. And PERUSALL is also embedded with more tools that automatically sends nudges to students, reminds them on giving more substantive comments, on asking questions. So all these tools that are embedded go to enhance the eliciting process, which is an important component of the formative assessment process. So tying everything together, PERUSALL is a multi-purpose tool. And in the first ever conference organized on PERUSALL Exchange 2021 that I had the opportunity to present and participate in, there were so many presentations that revealed the multi-functions of PERUSALL. Take, for example, equity and inclusion, which is so important. PERUSALL provides this platform where every student feels safe in sharing their knowledge. Therefore, students, irrespective of their background and culture, can actually share their knowledge. It gives them an extended period where they can continue to comment, unlike in class, on the spot, where you ask a student a question and you expect them to share. All this, again, shows the extent to which PERUSALL enhances equity and inclusion, which is also really important for effective formative assessment. You want every student to be part of the learning and sharing their knowledge. English as a second language learners can also benefit to the extent that the teacher actually engages them with content and directions that requires them to respond to prompts, engage them in discussions that will enhance their reading skills and enhance their English language knowledge. Personally, I am looking at PERUSALL and all the components with respect to formative assessment. To what extent does PERUSALL enhance formative assessment? That is what I am really exploring. And this 1 year, I have been able to observe the extent to which I can use PERUSALL to enhance elicitation, to enhance all the students actually sharing their knowledge, to enhance students' self-motivation, self-esteem, so that at the end or during the learning process, the knowledge that I am getting is so authentic and I am able to make effective instructional decisions that will enhance students' learning, that will enable them to close the gap between what they know and what they are supposed to know. Formative assessment, therefore, adds value to PERUSALL. And I am here recommending and asking everyone who is using PERUSALL to constantly think of formative assessment, that important component that enhances teaching and learning. These are some of the references that I use. So if you're interested in learning more about formative assessment, go for them. And also, if you're not familiar with PERUSALL, I strongly recommend that you go online on perusall.com and learn about it. And you will benefit from the multiple tools that enhance teaching. Because PERUSALL supports formative assessment, I am therefore in praise of PERUSALL. It is an additional benefit to think about formative assessment as something that PERUSALL is enhancing. If you have questions or comments, or you want to share your experience in using PERUSALL with respect to formative assessment, this is my content. These are my contacts. I will be looking forward to any question and comments that you have. And hopefully next year, I will be in EDULEARN 2022 physically. Thank you.